To this day, the worst production experience I ever had. And it was really fun. I just wasn't prepared for the scale. I said, I came to this country looking for you. Walked with him and I pitched the movie in 20 seconds. Filmmakers, artists, we were all so moved by it, we didn't know what to do. We were confused, hurt.
I think one of my best experience in terms of casting.
15 minutes. So you said Shefali Shah next, Anurag Arora next, Vinod Sharawat next, Gopal Tiwari next, and I couldn't believe it. You know what this was? I was trying to convince the producers because I was convinced on Shefali, I was convinced on Rasika. I said, chalo. Casting is like looking for true identity of somebody. And everyone who comes in is an imposter, lying, claiming to be that person. Any scene that is professional related, as a police officer, you cannot change a single word. And we sat for over maybe weeks. And she asked hundreds of questions about every page of the script. Rasika, I think, really is one of the most talented performers in the country. I wasn't sure if I was the right person to make it, as I said, NRI. And I wasn't sure if we would be accused of commercial exploitation of the crime.
I remember you told me, I hate doing this, but I had to.
I have to. He heard my accent and said, "Kahan se hai bhai?" I said, "Punjab se." You see a movie from 15 years ago, it doesn't look as good as today. Visual effects, gone. After 10 years, they look fake. Performance and script lasts for 100 years.
Is there anyone you really want to work with?
No.
No.
Do you know why I can't tell you? Because if I do, they get...
Welcome back to another episode of Samsung Galaxy Book for Siri Present, The Bombay Dream with Mukesh Chhabra. ये एक ऐसा शो है जहां मैं बहुत सारे डायरेक्टर को लेकर आता हूं आपके सामने, उनसे कास्टिंग के बारे में बात करता हूं, उनकी फिल्मों से जुड़ी कहानियों के बारे में बात करता हूं और उनके बारे में बात करता हूं। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं अगला एपिसोड द बॉम्बे ड्रीम विद मुकेश छाबड़ा। आज के जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं वो एक ऐसा डायरेक्टर है जो पैदा कनाडा में हुआ, अभी लंदन में रहता है, लेकिन वो शो और फिल्म इंडिया में बनाता है। बहुत ही कमाल का डायरेक्टर है। उसका पहला बड़ा शो जो उसने बनाया था जिसका नाम था डेली क्राइम, जिसको एमी मिला था, और उसके बाद पोचर और बहुत सारे अलग अलग शो बनाए। आप सब उसको जानते हैं, इंटरनेशनली भी लोग उसको बहुत जानते हैं, बहुत प्यार करते हैं। तो चलिए मिलते हैं रिची मेहता से। थैंक यू यार।
My pleasure, always.
I waited for you more than 15 years to do this, I guess. 15 ago we decided one day we'll have a chat on casting.
15 years.
15 years. One day we'll do it. Tell me, people only know you because of this Delhi crime. Take me back to your journey from college, school, family, home.
That's a long answer, but the short answer is basically I studied art, drama, and journalism and political science.
From Canada, right?
Then from Canada. And I wanted to learn all of the liberal arts that feed into filmmaking before I made films. So painting, sculpture, photography, writing. And very early on I realized that you can learn everything there is about filmmaking. If you have nothing to say, it doesn't matter. So now you have to live to learn. Like you would say to an actor.
Yeah.
Accumulate experience. So uske baad I started coming to India. And as an NRI, I had not experienced India as a young person. I had a whole different experience of the world. So I was looking at things as an outsider. And
Which year?
I mean, the first time I came was really was mid-90s. But then I came in 2003 to make a short film. And that short film, which was called Amal, as a short version, that ended up changing my life because I made the film, but then the experience of making the film in Delhi on the streets was so influential to me. Because at that point, it was my first time just being marooned out there, untethered. You're just running around figuring things out and you're observing everything, meeting people, making it happen. We snuck into 5-star hotels to shoot stuff. Today, you'd get thrown into jail for doing that. It was 20 years ago. After that, I went back home and I realized I want to do the story again, but properly. Really, really spend some time on it. Now that I've spent a little bit of time there, I've lived a little bit now. I was 26, 27 at the time. And so I ended up winning a contest in Toronto at the Toronto Film Festival, which gave me funding for this film, the start of funding. And I had great producers. You met them, Steve and David. And we raised some money. My brother had written the original short story, so my brother Sean and I, we wrote it together. We came back, and I was very lucky because this was 2005. Seema Biswas had come to Toronto because she was in a film called Water.
Yeah,
met the film. I met her at a party. And I pitched her the project. I wanted her to act. She was very kind. She says, leave me the script at my door, the hotel door tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow for India. I leave the script, hard copy, and I'll read it. And here's my number, call me when you come to India. So I did that, printed out a copy that night, left it in front of her hotel room, and I hoped she got it. A few months later, I was in India, called her number. I asked, did you read it? She said, yeah, I read it. I said, really? She said, yeah, come to set. We went, she was doing some Rajshri production film at the time. And I went and met her. She very kindly talked me through the whole process. She really liked the script. We had a great time. And she says, but how are you going to cast this? I said, I don't know. She said, okay, you need to meet my friend Harish Khanna in Delhi. I didn't know anything about National School of Drama, any of this tradition. So she said, go meet this guy. I met him GK1 Market, didn't know who he was. I gave him a hard copy of the script, he left. We talked for 5 minutes. Next time I met him, he brought you.
Correct. Then I remember the first time meeting you with Seema Biswas in Bombay. And then that's how we met. But tell me, Amal, was your first short film? You never directed anything before that?
I did. I did 15 short films before that. 10 of them were out of Lego Men. Lego.
Oh, okay.
And I made them because I didn't want to waste other people's time, as I discovered basic things like framing, editing, those kinds of things. So I was experimenting with form, composition. Nobody will see those movies. They were not digitized.
Yeah. Only for your own growth.
Just for me. And then I made 5 or 6 proper short films with actors, and I went to film school, so we were making films there. I was shooting on film, 35mm, 16mm, everything. So by the time I got to Amal, I was actually already, at that point I was experimenting. It was the first film, Amal was the first film I made as a short where I relied only on script and performance. Before that, each short film had a gimmick, some crazy visual idea.
Yeah.
They don't exactly work, but they're experiments. But then I said, the most important part of a film must be script and performance. I've never done a film as just script performance. You just back away as a filmmaker, let the actors speak. A good script. I tried that on Amal, and it was the most successful short I ever made. I ended up selling it around the world because people identified with good script, good performance.
And the process of making full-length feature film, how was that experience first time?
Hell. It was, to this day, the worst production experience I ever had. My producers were amazing. We did the best we could. You were there every day, every single day. I think it's maybe the last film you were there every day on production.
Correct.
First
and last.
First and last.
No. Before that I was on the film, but not as a full-time casting director.
Not a full-time casting director. You worked with the children every day.
Yeah.
But, and it was really fun. I just wasn't prepared for the scale of trying to understand what it takes to do a feature film. And we had too many people. On that crew, we had too many people. We had 100 people. And I needed 30. Yeah. That's why second film, Siddharth, I did it with 10 people.
Correct. So then you met Seema, Rupendra was already...
Rupendra Nagra, my lead actor, he's already Punjabi, living in Canada.
He was also in your short film.
He was in my short film. And then...
Nasir.
Same trip I met Seema here. I went to meet him. I got very lucky. Bumped into him on the street.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking for him and I bumped into him on the road. So what happened was, there was a filmmaker, family friend who I knew, who had worked with him before, but I didn't want to ask this guy for a favor to connect with Nasir. Because I didn't want to enter Bombay asking for favors. I wanted to see how far the value of my story could get. And so I knew I could ask him for a favor, but then I didn't know what that would mean later on.
Yeah.
And so I set aside about a month to find Nasir, to pitch him the project. The second day I was with him, this guy, family friend, he said, Beta, come to the office. I'm going to do some work there. I said, fine. I mean, I don't know what else to do right now. I'm just trying to figure out who to call to find Naseeruddin Shah. We got to the office. He gets out of the car and his secretary comes to him and says, these are the meetings you have today. First meeting is Naseeruddin Shah in 5 minutes. And so he goes inside his office. I just wait there. I stand on the road. I say, okay, if I do nothing, he'll come to me. Just wait. 5 minutes. So I just waited on the road. Car came. Door opened. He was there. I pointed at him. I said, Nasir. He's like, what? I said, I came to this country looking for you. He said, why? And as he starts walking towards the office, I walked with him and I pitched the movie in 20 seconds. And my first 3 months of film school was only pitching, the art of pitching.
Really?
That's all we did was pitch.
Did you teach also that?
Yes. So I had 20 seconds. So I'm like, I have a 20-second version. So 20-second pitch. By the time he got to the door, he's like, here's my email. Call me or message me and we'll meet.
After that, you made Siddharth, smaller crew.
Small crew, same scale as Amal in terms of on-screen, smaller crew. Because I realized what we did with Amal, I could do for 1/10 the crew. And I also wanted to work entirely with Indian crew and Indian actors on a good script. Because one thing I saw in Amal, the quality of performance in this country is unmatched anywhere in the world.
In terms of actors.
Rajesh Telang on Amal. We're just Anurag Arora. He came for one day.
One day part. Yeah. You're also doing so well in Bombay now. Even Rajesh Telang, Anurag.
Of course, my whole Delhi crime cast, most of them worked with before because of you.
Yeah.
You had connected me. You, Harish, you, Rajesh. So I just realized there was so much talent. I wanted to start working exclusively with this talent to see if they had a really good script, what can they do? And that was the experiment of Siddharth. Just script, performance, all Indian talent.
Siddharth का idea कहाँ से आया? Just for a small jeep man. वो idea कहाँ से?
Siddharth?
Because you're roaming around in Delhi.
Yeah, I was going to meet Rajesh actually after Amal, and I was taking an auto rickshaw. We were talking. When I speak, I have a Canadian with my Hindi and Punjabi accent. So he heard my accent and said, "कहाँ से है भाई?" I said, "Punjab se." And then he said, obviously we're speaking in Hindi, and he is also Punjabi. And he said, "Do you know where Ludhiana is?" I said, "Yeah, that's where my father is from." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Do you know where Dongri is? The place Dongri." I had never heard of Dongri. I said, "No, I've never heard of them, sorry." "Why?" He says, "I think it's where my lost son is." I said, "What do you mean your lost son?" He goes, "I sent my son to work in Ludhiana. I never saw him again, and I believe he's been kidnapped and taken to a place called Dongri."
What?
He's an auto rickshaw driver. I said, "Fuck, I mean, when did this happen?" He goes, "1 year ago." I said, "So what have you been doing?" He goes, "Nothing. I can't take time off work. I have to support my family." I said, "Okay, so what's your son's name?" He tells me his name. I said, "Can you spell it for me?" He says, "No." I said, "Do you have a photograph of the son?" He says, "No." I said, "So you've been asking people for 1 year who get into your auto rickshaw for help?" He goes, "All I can do." So I took his number and I went back to where I was staying. This is 2013. I didn't have a smartphone. No, 2011. This is 2011. And then I did a Google search. I found Dongri in 2 seconds. Obviously, it's neighborhood here. And I looked at some of the research understanding, and it looked like if it was true, that kid is gone. Matlab, 1 saal ho gaya. I called the number, wrong number. And his name was Muhammad Ali. So, wo to chala gaya. So I said, okay, what can I do? What can I do in my position here? I can make a film about it.
How nice.
Then I met Siddharth, which is his story.
Then happened Delhi crime.
Yeah.
Process.
After that, I did a documentary.
After Siddharth,
After Siddharth,
India is another day.
Indian a Day,
Yeah.
Indian a Day, which you're in too,
Yes.
somehow.
Yeah.
And Siddharth, of course, you're in.
Yeah. Amal
Mukesh
also
bhai.
I was in it.
Huh?
Amal also was in it. The Pani wala.
Of course. Subhash, the Pani
Subhash.
wala. Then Mukesh bhai in Siddharth.
Yeah.
When I was in post-production Siddharth was then when December 2012 happened, Nirbhaya incident happened. I think all of us, filmmakers, artists, we were all so moved by it. We didn't know what to do. We're
Yeah.
confused, hurt,
Helpless.
helpless. I was there with you in Delhi
Yeah.
at the time even. I remember we walked through
Jantar Mantar. And we
Mantar,
saw the whole.
which is at the last scene of episode 7, second last scene of episode 7.
We were actually in Delhi that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw the guy who was fasting to death and all this stuff. And then we saw the 6 people hanging from a tree,
Yeah.
which is the last image of Delhi crime. Delhi crime ended up becoming a way for to channel all those conflicting emotions we felt, and I wanted to end it with the experience that we had when we were there. And obviously through set of circumstances, I ended up very luckily connecting with the former police commissioner of Delhi, Neeraj
Yeah.
Kumar, who was in charge of this whole situation. And then he had the idea that I should do this as a project, and I, as a non-resident Indian, I was like, how nobody should be making this, certainly not an NRI. But then he opened up the whole world of the police for me. He really did, very graciously, and introduced me to the person who was the real Vartika, and Chaya Sharma, and she is the most remarkable woman. And when I realized there's a way to potentially tell the story of this extreme darkness that I don't think humanity had ever encountered in our modern world, anywhere in the world, that we were able to tell this story through the lens of a woman who defied all expectation and heroism to help us through it in real life. And I figured that this is the prism to tell this story. It's not through the women who are being victimized, it's through the women who are fixing it. And that led me to Delhi Crime.
I think one of my best experience in terms of casting. Yeah.
15 minutes?
15 minutes and people, yeah, most difficult show, but actually it was all impulsive and no intuition. We were sitting in my other office 160 and we said, chalo, bolo.
And I said, Bartika is this. You said Shefali Shah, next? Okay, fine. And then I give you another one. You said Anurag Arora, next. Vinod Sharawat, next. Gopal Tiwari, next. And you were just naming them off. And I couldn't believe it. And the people I didn't know, you said, give me 5 to 10 minutes. You call them, they come in. I say, this is the person I had in my mind, and they're alive. And I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Every time I tell the story to people, they say, are you mad? You were making it the fake story. I said, no, actually.
Yeah, the lead 10 actors, 12 actors.
At least 10 actors in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And of course, then we went on to found the Mridul, all the new actors. Of course, that search went on for 2 months.
Yeah.
But initially, we finished casting in 10 minutes. ये हमारा जो अगला सेगमेंट है ना, ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है, जिसका नाम है बियॉन्ड द बुक. मैं आप ही के शो के जुड़े हुए आपको कुछ ऑडिशन दिखाऊंगा, अपने गैलेक्सी बुक 4 से प्ले करूंगा, लेकिन सेकंड स्क्रीन पे आपको आपके टैब पे दिखेगा. तो चलिए देखते हैं हमारा अगला सेगमेंट बियॉन्ड द बुक.
Hey, what's this? She can't be giving a statement right now. Please don't be bothering.
See, we found it.
I just came to check.
Yes, but no police here without hospital permission. Please ask Nikki and say only Niti is here as well. Please.
I have put Nikki here. I have just come to say hello to her.
Yes, I don't care.
I'm
Only
your friend.
only family here, no exceptions. Please.
Oh my God.
Ma'am, he's here to photograph the victim's bite marks. We have hospital authorization.
Fine. Madam, can you please do this when she's sleeping?
We have to do it now.
Do her duty when she's sleeping.
कुछ याद आया?
Yes.
कितने साल हो गया?
ये था, this was 2017. December, I think November.
Yes.
Something.
The first workshop video.
I wasn't there for this.
Yeah,
I wasn't in the room, right? I was in Delhi.
Yeah.
You were doing this in Bombay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this was? I was trying to convince the producers.
कि ये correct है.
Yeah, because I was convinced on Shefali, I was convinced on Rasika. I said, chalo.
साथ में कुछ
And then
करते
that's
हैं.
what- yeah. My gosh.
I think I'll give you this audition. You'll remember this. I'll give you this
Yeah, I
video.
didn't have this. I didn't have this. This is really, really nice to see.
हम है ना, हमने सारा केस इस लड़के पे बेस कर रखा है और मुझे लगता है इसमें बेवफा है. Despite the warm milk and coddling and free food and whatever accommodations you provided. No? Okay. बात बताइए. उसने ज़्यादा कपड़े क्यों नहीं पहने थे? बहुत सारे कपड़े. उस दिन इतनी ठंड थी. क्योंकि वो चाहता था कि आराम से उतार पाए.
इतने दिल से he was reading it.
Yep, this was the same. I was convinced. I had to show the producers. This was the same.
I remember you told me, listen, I hate doing this, but I had to.
I have to. I have to. And once they were convinced, they then never questioned for the rest. I mean, abhi tak season 2, now season 3, right?
Yeah.
They're running with it. But my thing was, these are people. I had not worked with Rasika or Shefali. I knew Rasika for a while. Shefali's work I'd seen. Rajesh had worked on him with several projects now. These are people who I was so convinced were perfect for the role. And I knew if we got these right, again, with your choices, I could just fly. There would be no politics on Delhi Crime.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just purely execution.
Okay, I also wanted to ask you, there's so many Bollywood actors, stars, you know. Is there anyone you really want to work with?
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't even know. Honestly, I wouldn't know where to start. There's so many. I have lists.
Like,
No.
एक नाम,
No.
एक नाम, दो
Do you
नाम.
know why I can't tell you? Because if I do, they get negotiating leverage.
Oh,
I can't tell you.
such a smart answer. But there are many people you really want to work with.
There are. Sometimes I feel that they've done incredible work. I want to collaborate. Sometimes I feel they haven't done the best work.
Okay,
yet.
name few actors you really like. Not the one you already worked, but new one.
No, but then it's going to be the same. I can't do it.
How do you choose actor? What do you see in acting?
Honestly, it's instinct.
Yeah.
It has to be. It's not an active decision. It's funny. My favorite director is an Australian director, Peter Weir. He said an anecdote that casting is like looking for a true identity of somebody. And everyone who comes in is an imposter, lying, claiming to be that person. But one person is telling the truth. And you just have to figure out. And sometimes they're very good liars. You get confused. But then the one person comes and doesn't lie, just is. They are that person. That's all you're looking for, is who is that person. Doesn't mean it's the best actor in the world. It's just the most appropriate. So I just look for anything, you know me, I just look for anything that stands out as being artificial. If I can sense any artificiality, it doesn't work.
And working with Shefali, Rasika, Rajesh, Akash Dhaya,
Akash
Amal
Dhaya.
Dutt.
Amazing. That ensemble was incredible. I mean, I was very lucky because I had the time to write for those 4 years. So by the time we got to production, and the producers who incredibly financed the project, I didn't have to second guess a single word of the script. And I told the actors that any scene that is professional related, as a police officer, you cannot change a single word. That script is insured legally because it's an active case. Any scene that involves personal, family life, you can slightly adjust if you need to make it fit. But I need you to say exactly the words professionally. And those actors were just, they just became, very, very simply became the person. I mean, Shefali, she asks a lot of questions. And we sat for over maybe weeks. Yeah. And she asked hundreds of questions about every page of the script. By the time we got on the set, we didn't have to speak. She knew everything, but she asked the right questions. She's very inquisitive. Rasika, I think, really is one of the most talented performers in the country. And same thing, I never had to direct. You know that. You don't have to direct actors. You just have to direct some of their physical movement. Yeah. That's it. Otherwise, they should know what to do.
And you're also very fast because you got your shot and you move very fast. You don't really over direct. You just move, you keep moving.
Because I think script and performance are the only aspects of movies which will never become dated. After 10 years, if you have the best camera in the world today, in 10 years it won't look good. You see a movie from 15 years ago, it doesn't look as good as today. Yeah. Camera's already outdated. Visual effects, gone. After 10 years, they look fake.
Only the performance.
Performance and script last for 100 years.
That's a very great. That's why we keep going back to the old film and keep watching, because we like the story.
All they had. They didn't even have color. They only had performance and script, and they still last.
How do you feel now? Because now you know everyone knows you. You got Emmy also. I remember during COVID on Zoom, live was happening, we were all there. How was that experience?
Look, it was amazing. Honestly, the reason it was so nice, first of all, I didn't have to dress up from below with the actual pajamas I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But that was during COVID, so I wish I could be with the crew and the cast. But look, Delhi Crime, made by 300-400 people, and completely independently, and then Netflix acquired it. That was a project which was a culmination. I'm just talking about the artistic aspect of it, not the social aspect of it. Socially, I wish from the bottom of my heart that show didn't need to exist. I wish it didn't exist. Artistically, it was a culmination of my 15-20-year experiment of working with Indian talent, the best Indian talent, with no commercial consideration, just unfiltered.
Correct.
What happens? And that was the first time I was allowed to fully realize that. And the result was an international Emmy, which to me proves my theory, which the Indian talent is the best in the world, behind and in front camera.
And you still follow the same instinct. Even in Poacher also, you went with the new actor. You still believe in the new talent, maybe, or correct casting.
Yeah, Poacher, I described Mala to you, 10 seconds, Nimisha Sajayan. You're absolutely right, she's remarkable. I had not seen her work before.
Yeah, you had no idea.
When she did the audition, she had COVID, reading off her phone, not fully there. She was perfect. She was perfect. Every word that came out of her mouth was it, and better.
And Roshan?
Roshan, impeccable, professional, knows his stuff. I mean, I didn't know any of their work.
Then why Poacher?
Poacher, because when I was making Delhi Crime, I was not sure about the ethics of the project. I wasn't sure if I was the right person to make it, as I said. NRI, should I be taking on Nirbhaya? And I wasn't sure if we would be accused of commercial exploitation of the crime, even though obviously we were not doing that. There was no money involved. There was always that fear as we made it, because we didn't have a home. We didn't know if Netflix, anyone would buy. We were just making it.
Yeah.
So after Delhi Crime finished, we won the Emmy, I had some leverage, some power, a little bit. And I thought, if I'm going to use this, I better use it for something where I am sure. 100% of the subject's ethics. And to me, wildlife crime, there is no question about the ethical fight against wildlife crime, 100%. So I wanted to invest my heart and soul in something where I never questioned why. And it had never been done. Dramatic recreation of wildlife crime had never been done. And it was also another way for me to show in India, not just film and art, some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, ever, are wildlife crime fighters from India. The real heroes.
You also wanted to say something about Delhi Crime.
Delhi Crime, when I was finishing research at the last stage, I'd written the scripts and I was doing some revision. I needed some research. I was dealing with these producers who wanted to finance the show a year later. So I'd come to India, and this was, I believe, November of 2017, to finish that research. And I got that information. And then one of the producers said, "Can you do it now instead of next year?" I said, no, it has to be shot in the winter. If we do it now, we'd have to shoot in 6 weeks to finish before the end of winter. And she said, yeah, can you do it in 6 weeks? A 400-page script. I said, over 200 actors. I said, I can do it if Mukesh casts. If you don't get in my way, just don't even question, allow me to have Mukesh as casting director, I can do it in 6 weeks. If not, I cannot do it. I didn't think it would take you 15 minutes to do the leads.
Yeah.
I thought maybe a couple of days. But I knew that if I had you with these scripts, it would be okay.
How do you write your script? If you want to give any suggestion to writers?
I mean, depends. My last few scripts are based on real incidents. So for me, it's about gathering as much information on the incident as I can, or the moment, or the situation. And that sometimes takes a few years. And then you put all of that together to see what the real story is, and then you start to see how to dramatize it so that the essence of what the real story is to you is preserved in the dramatic recreation. Because drama is different from real, of course. But that's how I've been writing last few stories, because they're real. If you're writing pure fiction, that's a whole different process. And I have not done pure fiction now in over 10 years.
I think you like all this.
I like the real stories because right now I think there's a need for them in the world. I think there's a need for storytellers to use their skill to make very complicated real life situations that we don't know what to do with, simplify them.
Do you want to give any advice to the newcomer? Because I see so many people, actors, writer, director.
Look, I think, and it's more difficult for actors, of course, what I'm about to say, but I feel that if you have a need to express yourself, we teach our children, beta, beti, don't worry about what other people say. You believe in yourself. Basic children, we teach, basic. We teach actors the opposite. You will make a living if other people love you. It is the complete antithesis of how human beings should be living. So my advice for anyone in this industry, no matter what it is you're doing, what vocation you're doing, you have to find a way to activate your talent and your skill on your own, all the time. You cannot wait for other people to do it for you. And for actors, it's very difficult because you act when people cast you.
Yeah.
But you have to find a way. Because if you don't, you're going to fall into this trap, which we teach our children not to. And if you fall into that trap, it's despair, depression, sadness, self-doubt. It's endless.
ग्रेट. हमारा जो अगला सेगमेंट है ना, वो है यादों का पिटारा. हमने बहुत सारी ऐसी पिक्चर निकाली आपके दोस्तों के साथ, आपके काम के लोगों के साथ, जिनको हमने गैलेक्सी बुक 4 में AI रिमास्टर करके बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग बना दिया ताकि आपकी यादें और ताज़ा हो सके. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं हमारा अगला सेगमेंट, यादों का पिटारा.
Oh my God.
ये जो पिक्चर देख रहे हो आप, अभी इसको हमने रीमास्टर किया है, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था. अभी आप देखो, कैन यू सी द डिफरेंस?
This is Connaught Place, I remember. This is in front of hospital, Ram Manoia.
Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Wow, Richie, not bad, huh?
I remember wearing the same glasses actually. So the Superman shirt, he's wearing a Superman shirt because it belonged to his son and his son had been in a train accident. So he's wearing it for this role, and I find that very, 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 very moving. This was my first day working with him, and I still think he's trying. I look at this and I feel like his face is, what the hell is this kid talking about?
You still look the same. Remember this?
Yes, Delhi Crime.
ये जो पिक्चर हमने अपने सॉफ्टवेयर के हिसाब से इसको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बना दिया है. अब यार बिफोर, अब थी आफ्टर.
I think this was close to the end. I think this was the last day of Rajesh.
Yes.
Yeah, we were doing the courtroom scene. This was in Old Delhi.
एक और पिक्चर दिखाता हूँ आपको, शायद आपको ये पिक्चर देखो. आप पहले देखोगे ये पिक्चर हमने अपने सॉफ्टवेयर के हिसाब से इसको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बना दिया है. AI का सॉफ्टवेयर है ये.
This would have been with Deepa Mehta. I think this was 2005 September.
In Canada.
In Canada, yeah. This was the cover of a newspaper.
Really?
During the Toronto Film Festival. She opened so many doors for me. Because I didn't have to go into a meeting with financiers in Canada and explain who I was and what I was doing culturally. She did it before. It was really remarkable, yeah.
ये पिक्चर तो आपको याद ही होगी.
February of this year.
Tell me ये कैसे हुआ? This completely, I was very surprised when I got to know this and I called you also. I said, wow.
Yeah. This was basically...
like a you and Alia Bhatt, completely different.
Yeah. What happened was basically, I met Alia for just general talk. She had seen some Delhi Crime, obviously, and I knew some of the people on her team. And I was in the post-production of Poacher, almost done. And so we had a general meeting, and we talked about another project, and I said, I'm busy for a little while, I have to finish something. She said, what do you have to finish? I said, I'm finishing this series on wildlife crime and wildlife crime fighting in India. I told her a true story. And she said, is there anything I can do to help you on that? I said, no, it's done. It's going to go Amazon Prime, sab kuch ho gaya. And she said, okay, well, beyond that, is there anything I can do to help you get the word out? I said, that for sure. I mean, what would you have to gain? She says, I'm a conservationist. I believe in the message. I said, if you would do that, that would be immensely, immensely helpful for what my goal of awareness. And she said, I would just do it because I believe in it. I said, let's do it.
Wow. Remember this?
Poacher, yeah. This was a waterfall sequence. Satyapal's our focus puller. He's amazing. One of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. I'm looking at the monitor at Nimisha in the waterfall right now. And I cannot believe what she's doing. Nimisha is just out of this world magical performer.
Yeah.
What she does instinctively. And in this case, we were improvising a scene inside the waterfall for the end of episode 8.
I actually want to see her more. Nimisha is doing very less work. I don't know why.
I mean, everything, I don't know. Look, most people work more than I do. I make something every 4 years, right? So I just think everything she does turns to gold. Everything she touches. And right now, that's the look on my face when I see it for the first time.
You get happy.
It's delight because I'm watching magic. I'm watching her create magic.
Great. Last couple of things I can ask you now. Because I think I should ask you. You want to make any commercial Bollywood film or no?
You tell me first. What does commercial mean? What does that word mean to you?
What does commercial mean according to me? According to how people react in this country? यहाँ पे 400 करोड़ का पिक्चर होता है, 300 करोड़ 200 करोड़.
That's result or budget?
That's the result.
So then it can be a 5 crore film that ends up making.
Yeah,
That's commercial.
yeah.
But it might have been not commercial in its conception. So you're talking about a result.
Yes, literally I'm asking you. You want to make a film where people say, क्या 400 करोड़ का पिक्चर बनाया, commercial picture, Bollywood songs, music, things.
Again, that is other people who I don't necessarily know putting a value of success on something. That has nothing to do with what I'm here for. Do I want people to see the work? Sure. But remember, Delhi Crime, 6 years, including and up to the final finishing part of the edit and sound, I didn't know if anyone would ever see it. I was joking, maybe we just put it on YouTube and who knows. And then Netflix acquired. You know, to a certain extent, you do the best you can and you put it out there. Now, do I have a general commercial sensibility? I do love watching commercial films. I love them. I learn from them, in fact, because they're usually pushing the technology. So I take those things. Having said that, I don't think I'm capable of doing something that's just pure entertainment, full stop. That itself I cannot do. Because it's too difficult to make a film or a series. For me, I need to have one other reason I'm doing it. It's too difficult. And I sometimes admire filmmakers who are putting everything into just pure entertainment. I ask myself, how do you do that? How can you put so much into just a pure comedy? Only goal is to make you laugh. I don't know how. I just don't know how. I'll be the first to see it and laugh, be happy. But I don't know how they motivate themselves 2, 3, 4 years, every day, all day, 16 hours a day, just to entertain. I don't know how.
Maybe that's the goal. Maybe they wanted to do
And that's their goal. Maybe that is their absolute goal. Exactly. It just happens to be not my goal. Happens to be done.
Great. Thank you very much, Richie. I hope you had fun. It's
Very much
different.
had fun. Very much.
Very different. I'm also very happy that we did this. One picture I need.